You're all excited to start a new goal on Monday, and by the end of the week, you completely stop. We all been there because no one starts off succeeding. Let me give you a simple consistency guide that will start you on the right path. First off, you must be really tired of being an inconsistent person. What I mean by this is you have to really be sick of the issue that you have and feel so sick of that issue that you want to find a solution to that problem, which is starting a new goal and never finishing it. When you can start by this bar, you are already succeeding. I have seen countless people want to start something and not be tired enough of their situation that they are willing to go back to it. When you are not willing to go back to the old version of yourself, that's when you start being consistent. A lot of people that are, for example, trying to do weight loss, they start the gym, they leave the gym, they start eating, and they go back and forth. These people are not truly sick of the situation. I tell you this by personal experience because when I was truly tired of being unfit, I never looked back. I was so tired of feeling inferior with other women. I felt so tired of not feeling like one of the pretty girls in the room. And I knew that I needed to make a change and that change had to be permanent. It couldn't be something that I was going to play around with. It had to be something that I was going to sustain for a long period of time because weight loss and going to the gym is not an easy thing. When I made that decision, I was able to really stay consistent, and I have been able to stay consistent with that ever since. If you are not truly sick of the situation that you are in, you are never going to stick around long enough to see progress. When you are very tired of being an inconsistent person and not getting to your goals, you begin to shift the way you think. You begin to say, I'm going to do certain things and they're going to be non-negotiables. I'm going to get them done whether I feel like it or not, because I have spent so much time not feeling like doing things, and this is where it has gotten me. And usually it is nowhere. It's the same point that you've been at for 10 to 15 years. So when you have that true desire to actually stay consistent with any aspect of your life, that's when you are going to start using consistency to your advantage. Second off, you need to establish that this is a habit that you are going to leave behind. So from now on, you're not going to carry this habit with you anymore. You're not going to be inconsistent with anything that you do in your life. Since you already are sick of your situation, now you need to establish it's a habit that I'm going to leave behind, and what are the steps that I'm going to take to leave this habit behind. By doing this, you will make a commitment to yourself and make a commitment to change. And this is going to allow you to start being consistent with something new. When we are not hard on ourselves sometimes, we don't correct these mistakes. We don't acknowledge that they are habits that we need to leave behind. We acknowledge them as a flaw or just something that we do, but we don't acknowledge it as something that's really ruining our lives. And that is a big issue because not being able to pivot and change and correct yourself in efforts to always be kind to yourself is very detrimental to your progress. Not only is it detrimental to your progress, but you're also not being honest with yourself. So you're not really opening your eyes to what is there. And that is creating those habits, those negative habits of always being comfortable, not being okay with discomfort, not getting out of your comfort zone to do things, and always waiting to feel good to do things. This is not going to allow you to be consistent. And when you make that commitment to leave that habit behind, that's when you begin to understand that consistency is about discomfort and ignoring that feeling. Third off, and only now you can begin to implement consistency in your goal. Now you can create actionable steps that you can take towards your goals by using a schedule. I recommend that you add what you're personally struggling with every day at the same time to your schedule. What this is going to allow you to do is build a routine, build a habit on that goal. By doing the same task every day at the same time, you are going to start getting used to it. You're going to start getting used to the discomfort. You're going to start getting used to the time that you do it, and you're going to be able to start sticking to it easier. When we make schedules and we do things differently every single day, you don't allow yourself to make small increments of progress because you are doing something at a different time of the day. So you don't recognize that feeling of waking up and going to the gym. You don't recognize that feeling of doing content creation after breakfast. You don't recognize that feeling because you are not making it a habit. It's kind of like becoming something that you do randomly throughout the day. If you want to be consistent with something, start adding it to your schedule at the same exact time every day and stick to that time. But what is consistency about anyways? Consistency is not about perfection. It's not about intelligence. It's about being able to show up every day with whatever face you have, with whatever clothes you have, and make some type of effort towards your goal. Consistency is about detaching emotion from action and getting what you need to get done. You are not relying on your feelings to get your tasks done because your feelings are always going to say, don't do that, I don't feel like doing this, and it's going to get in the way of your progress. If this guide made sense to you, you can watch my next video on consistency over perfection to further catapult you towards your goals. I will see you there.